Hi, my name is Nadia Skrzecz, and this is my story. So, I was born with polycystic kidney disease. I had to have a kidney transplant when I was 4 years old. My dad was a donor. I had been healthy ever since, no problems. I always took my post-transplant medication, and I always focused on being healthy, routine follow-ups with my doctor. Just 2 years ago, that all changed. I began to have headaches and double vision. I remember that I was driving home from work one day and I was actually seeing double of everything. I saw 2 stop signs and I drove my car right onto the grass and into the stop sign. Shortly after the incident, I was admitted to the ER. Since my symptoms were only getting worse over time, they did a bunch of tests and they had me under observation, almost like a domino effect. I rapidly grew worse, my body changed. Once my body went completely numb, I was having trouble moving my face. I suddenly had trouble walking. My blurred vision and double vision was getting worse. Soon after those occurrences, I had craniotomy and they took biopsy of my brain. The results came back and it indicated that it was non-Hodgkin's brain lymphoma. Soon after I got to Northwestern, I lost my motor skills, my speech, and was immobilized and temporarily paralyzed. I couldn't move my face, I couldn't move my arms, even my mind felt paralyzed. I thought that this was permanent. I'm gonna live as a vegetable or at best be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. The devil really attacked my mind. I was just so weak that I couldn't even pray. Of course, your mind immediately goes to what did I do? Didn't I pay my dues during my transplant? I kept my body healthy, always took my medication. I even went on mission trips. I really thought I was going to die. I talked to God and He answered me, not the way I wanted Him to, but nonetheless. He said, my strength is made perfect in weakness. Just trust me. Psalm 118:17. You will not die, but instead live to tell what the Lord has done. I spent lots of nights sleeping in a hospital. Living at the hospital became my new normal. On February 13th, 2021, the doctor came in and told me that I was officially in full remission, and I knew that God kept his promise like he always does. I had one consolidated chemotherapy. The previous 8 seemed like a cakewalk compared to this chemotherapy. This was the first time that my hair had ever started falling out. I had bone pain. This chemotherapy made my platelet count drop to 0. I was bleeding out completely. I was hemorrhaging to the point of needing a blood transfusion, and I was in the hospital for 10 days. It took me over 6 months to recover. I was in a very deep depression. I had a victim mentality. Once again, I would ask God, why me? God showed me multiple times in prayer and scripture that suffering is a privilege and healing looks different for everyone. Healing is continuous. Instead of asking God, why me? I saw everything through his perspective. I began to see opportunity rather than asking God, why me? I now ask God, what now? How do you see this situation? And how do you want to use me? I finally let go of all the anger, bitterness, depression, and victim mentality, and gave him full surrender. He has put me through a season of pruning and refining. Probably one of my favorite verses is James 1:2, which is to count it all joy, not just when blessings overflow, but more so when there are trials and tribulations. Coming out of all this, if it's produced a great love for Jesus, it was all worth it.